The winner of the 2024 Crabbo Breaking Barriers in Canada Award goes to The Diary of a Niger Immigrant.
Hey darling, are you in for this ride with me? Let's jump in.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of The Diary of a Niger Immigrant. Today we have a very, very special guest. You know, that's what we do here. We just bring special people in the city of Calgary and even Canada at large, and we just give you their stories. And we find it very, like, a huge privilege that these guests find time in their busy schedules, and they also trust us with their stories, and we do not take it for granted. So today I am honored and I am humbled to introduce or to bring you guys this very special guest, Mr. Lanre Ajayi.
Thank you very much. Human being, we're all human beings and we're all doing something good. What you're doing is making impacts and telling stories, you know, from our lived, learned experiences. And I hope and I want to believe that individuals listening, watching, can learn a thing or two.
I hope so too.
Make impacts in their own unique way.
Thank you for that. Mr. Lanre Ajayi, for people who might just be meeting you for the first time on the show, could you please tell us who Mr. Lanre Ajayi is?
I'm a change maker. I'm a community advocate, and also I'm a go-getter. And born in Nigeria, moved to Canada 10 years ago. You know, by virtue of my wife, that's why we should move here.
These women.
So, and then I'm here trying to make a difference in my community, you know, telling stories from our own lived learned experiences. And, you know, because when a lion roars and a dog barks, there's a difference between the two. If a dog is barking there, you won't be moved. But if you hear the lions roar, they won't tell you, you will run.
Right.
You know, if you actually seen a lion roar before in real life, the difference is clear. So what I'm saying is that as an African, we tell our stories better than an edited version that someone heard and is saying or is telling us. So I'm here to tell our story, and that's who I am. I'm a storyteller, and I'm on a mission and unraveling the curtains of creativity, you know, one day at a time, one step at a time, and making a better version of myself every day.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So talking about your journey, you mentioned that your wife, by virtue of your wife's idea, she wanted you guys to move. Can you walk us through that journey? How was that journey for you? How long ago did you move? How was the process for you? And yeah.
So my wife, I met her in London while she was living and working in London. So I was in Nigeria, she was in London, and then we got married. And then after 10 years of marriage in Nigeria, she said, you know, I'm tired, we need to just leave this place. So in my mind, I thought, okay, London or France, because my wife was born in Paris.
Right.
So France, I don't speak French, but we can have, at least it's not far. London. So he said, no, Canada. Then I took a pause. Canada. Because I've told the story, you know, several times that I was afraid because of one thing. Canada, as what I've heard, is the coldest place on earth.
Right.
So the fear of the cold was the first attack on my person, on my Canada. Why? What? Canada? What? So it took me 1 year to agree.
Really?
Yeah, 1 year to settle in my mind, in my spirit, in my soul, in my body that yes, we're coming. Because I've been privileged to travel to some other part of the world, some continents, and I've not been to Canada at all. I've gone as far as America, but not Canada. So that Canada was like,
where did this come from?
Where's it coming from? Canada, of all places. So after 1 year, you know, during that period of 1 year, she was busy doing all the documentation. She just bring me documents, sign, I sign.
Really?
Pay, I pay. But my mind was not there. That's I'm not here. So,
wow.
But it was like, I was like, because the fear is, apart from the fear of cold, is that I'm going to uproot myself from where I'm established. After like over 40 years of my life in Nigeria, now move. And it wasn't as if there was a job waiting for me or somebody. So like, for a man to begin again, is really a major fear that I'm going to leave
everything.
I have a printing press, I have an advert agency in Nigeria, and all of that. I'm going to leave, and I'll start and where?
And it's not close. It's really far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after 1 year, someone courage, and as God will have it, the process came through. I wasn't even praying, oh God, let it. But it came through. So, and then we came 2015. I stayed for like 2-3 months. I went back.
Really?
Yes. Because I was like, this place is like.
When did you guys come? What season?
It came June 15, 2015.
So like summer?
Yes.
So what was chasing you back?
See, coming to Canada, that first 3 months was so much, I would say, traumatic on me. Like, because my wife came in, there was this program for women, kids started going to school. We stayed in my friend's place in Cranston, in Southeast Calgary. He works in Fort Mac. So he's traveling, Fort Mac. His wife works somewhere else. The kids going to school. I'm the only one at home.
Right.
And I'll be looking at the window. Not even a bird flying. Nothing. No car driving. No bike. Nobody crying, shouting. I was like, hey, is this going to be the picture of my life? I'll just sit by the window and I'll be like thinking, what am I doing in this place? I was very lonely because nothing.
You didn't have friends.
My friend works in Fort Mac.
Right.
So it's only in the evening that they are back. And the whole of the day. And the evening we eat and then we go to bed. So it was just like lonely for me because there was nobody to reach out to, all of that. And so I went back to Nigeria after 3 months. And then I had some business to do in China and some other part of the world. So I traveled across. And also, my family is here and I'm there. I'm not the kind of person that, okay, let them be living there. Occasionally, I travel for probably 3 weeks and I'm back. But, so I took another place in Nigeria. I was living then. So I came back. And of course, the situation continues. But the only thing that kept me was my craft. I started painting again.
Nice.
Because I majored in painting from the university. I started painting again from the basement of. We eventually rented a house then, and I started painting. And then I was doing that. I was just painting. And then, of course, I learned, volunteer, it helps you. So I started volunteering and I was painting. And that was how I was able to get out of those kind of, solitude
Feelings.
and all of that. I was painting, I was volunteering. And, of course, the rest is history, The story continues, but let's leave it for there.
Wow, that's very touching. I never would have. One thing like we always touch on, especially every time we have a male guest, one thing that I always take away is most times people don't really put into perspective the kind of mental torments that men have to go through as a result of this move. And most times it's always the women that bring up the idea, like it was my idea for us to move to Canada. And like my husband was like, okay, you guys go. I'm not going anywhere. And then after about 4 months, he just came to visit and he hasn't gone back since then. So, but I can't imagine like the kind of mental, like it wasn't also easy for him. But we don't really think about that. We're so busy with kids, so busy trying to.
I became a driver at some point. I was just driving them to swimming, to karate, to Kumon, to picking them at the bus stop. That's what I was doing.
How many kids did you have?
2.
Wow.
So, and I was just like.
How many kids do you have now?
There's still 2, boy and girl. So I was just driving to summer school, to swimming, to this, pick my wife from the bus stop, all of that. That's what I was doing. And it wasn't as if I wasn't looking for a job. I was sending out resumes, like, every story, it's hundreds of resume. I did one with picture, ones without picture. I did everything. And I did get some interview, but some shocking things happened because I stepped into an interview with one multinational company one day. I stepped in and then the interviewers just looked at me from head to toe. I knew something was going to be, something wrong was going to happen. Like, I was overdressed.
Oh.
I knew it.
Calgary.
But it's just the
Who
way
we are. Yeah.
as an African. So
yeah.
my shoe, they look at me, they were looking at my shoe. Nice
Like,
shoe,
can we
everything,
pay
like,
this person?
like, they didn't have to say it to me, but I can read their mind. And of course,
And perfume, everything.
was like, so we're talking and they're looking at checking me out each time we were talking, and I've been trained to speak. I will talk to you right in the face. I don't have anything to hide, and we'll get back to you. I heard that story many times. Oh, actually, one with much more qualification, all those kind of stories. You know, I've been to some board level meeting that I'll talk to them. I will speak, and I discovered I'm going to be the only black person in the mix. And this one that they're telling me the story, and I'm telling them, this is the fact, and all of that, and all of that. So we'll get back to you. Those are the story. And that went on for a long time. And eventually, we came on the eve of Calgary Stampede in 2015.
Oh.
My friend told me that, I've heard of Calgary Stampede. I said, no, what is Calgary Stampede? He said, tomorrow you will know. So the following day we were at the City Hall. And I was like, wow, this is something spectacular. Biggest show on the planet, people, bikers, all those vintage vehicles, horses and all of that. And I was just with my phone taking pictures and calling my friends. Have you heard of Calgary Stampede? No. Have you heard of Calgary Stampede? No. I was like calling people from every part of China, Dubai, everywhere. No. Then I okay, let me call some friends I have in North America. No. Even from Toronto. No. So that
Toronto?
Yes. That informed why I started a video storytelling project called My City Speaks to Me that I do every month. Just to tell the story of the community.
Right.
It was because I've not heard. So that is one of the things that actually led to that, 2 years after. But that was the first place I got a job when I came, but it was a 10 days, part-time job.
Right.
And I got a job to work at the security unit department then. And I said, that's something, I want to just be part of this. To see how I can tell this story. So working in the security unit in the evening gave me an opportunity to come into the Stampede daily. So I arrive on the park around 10 in the morning with my camera to document the happenings at the Calgary Stampede. I do that from between 10 and 3, rested, and then 4 o'clock I resume work until 11. So I did that for first 10 days. I did that back to back for 2 years.
Wow.
Third year. So, I did that for that. Then I kept on applying, and I also got an on-call job with the city of Calgary. Recreation, event planning, recreation, which of course I'm coming from the background of planning events. The Ojide Festival was part of what I worked on when I was in Nigeria before it became this big with the pioneers, with Mr. Shibudi of VGU Limited. Star Mega Jam were the pioneer organization that planned Star Mega Jam. So I was coming from a background of event planning from Nigeria.
Right.
And then I got a job part-time with the city of Calgary, event recreation, event planning. It's okay. It's summer job. I can do that. So, and that was the only job I was doing, on call here and there. But I never, till today, until I started working full-time with ethnic festivals, which of course I founded. There was no, they were asking me, Canadian experience for being an artist, being a painter, being a creative person.
Did that really happen?
Oh, yes, they're asking for. And the question I ask is, what do you need a Canadian experience for? For someone who was a fashion designer. I don't need a Canadian experience to be a fashion designer. I'm just going to create fashion.
So, even right now, after about 10 years...
We still have issues with people asking folks about Canadian experiences, which, of course, it's legitimate in some areas, in some field, maybe medicine, maybe law, architecture, maybe in terms of conversion of certifications here and there. But when it comes to the creative industry, for example, you be a podcaster in Nigeria, You don't want to you want to apply to be a podcaster in a radio station like CJSW or whatever, and they're asking for Canadian experience.
So can't you show like your portfolio?
Yes.
You can show your
I
portfolio.
paint.
Something.
I'm a painter. I
Right.
design, and you're asking for Canadian experience.
Right.
So I believe some of them don't actually know what they're doing, because you don't ask a musician who's been singing in Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya or Caribbean, you're asking him that to be a musician in a nightclub, what are your Canadian experiences? No. The originality of the creativity is what you need.
Right.
A flair, a different genre of music style, that's what you need, not to sing like. And for me, I believe I don't want to sound like anybody else. I want to sound like myself. I want to be myself. I want to dress like myself, not because the way some people are doing it. No. It's some of the major challenges we still have in converting internationally accredited, acclaimed professionals from countries like Nigeria, Ghana, or Caribbean, whatever. Like, you find them doing some jobs that they're overqualified for.
And sometimes you don't get the jobs because you're overqualified.
I have a friend who I did a documentary with, Checker Transport Group. And from there, during that COVID period, I did a documentary about they call them Yellow Legacy. It's about celebrating those unsung heroes. Because then they were just praising the doctors and the nurses, but the cab drivers were working. The train drivers kept on working in Calgary. The taxi drivers, they were working. They were busy carrying supplies for people, but nobody was saying, they are like front workers, all of those workers. So I took upon myself to celebrate them, and that led to some discovery that some of those cab drivers, some of them from Palestinian, from Iraq, Iran, from Africa, from the Caribbean, I met some that I interviewed. They are master's degree holders. They are doctors of books. But because of, number one, they may not have that eloquence to speak. They can speak English. But some people, the standard is not enough. So they couldn't get a job, and they end up becoming a cab driver. For crying out loud, someone who has lectured for 10 years or 15 years.
Just to survive.
Teaching anthropology or international relations classes, major university in Iran. And then you're telling me that person cannot lecture like at the University of Calgary, or you're telling me that his degree, his doctorate degree, all of those is not like, can't be converted or can't have something. You have proof. So they're not working, jobs. Or I have individuals. While I was working in the city of Calgary at some event, recreation team, we were setting up event at Shaw Millennium Park for one summer event. I'm not sure it's Carry Fest. So we're on break and went to Co-op that is close to the Melwater train station. And I met a friend of mine who is a medical doctor working as a security for this
medical doctor.
Medical doctor. I felt, but I was crying inside. A medical doctor who practiced, who finished, studying medicine in Nigeria, went to Cape Verde to practice for some years, and came to Canada. And he has to do some certification, whatever. And I was saying that the least this guy could do was probably medical lab attendant.
Right, yeah.
Or nursing staff or assistant in the medical.
There's something related.
Yes.
Yeah.
But nothing was available for such an individual like that. And he was working as a security guard in a uniform.
Just to survive.
I was so said, my brother, now all of that. I didn't understand. Today, he's gone back to school. He's a medical doctor now. He's practicing now in Alberta here. But that shouldn't be that story. We shouldn't be telling that kind of story, because, we're wasting time and wasting resources. Canada is complaining we don't have enough doctors or lawyers or doctors or nurses. But we have qualified individuals who, in their own right, they can deliver. But by just, bringing them within the field of that medical practitioner, working in as medical assistant or lab technician or assistant or whatever, all of that, while they're doing their certification. Not that you're going to give them to just go and practice medicine. They can go through those certifications, but working within the field of medical practitioner, which
is
they
important.
can still add value.
The thing is, I kind of understand the logic or the sense behind, like, the fact that they have to go through different steps. But at the same time, I'm not sure how we can solve that to ensure that these people do not have to work odd jobs before they are able to get work. Because, like, there's some jobs like being a doctor or being a lawyer. You have, like, you can't easily convert it from Nigeria or from your country.
Exams, even being pharmacy, it's the same thing. And I know, I think, if I'm not wrong, the government of Alberta is doing something to mitigate that, in the sense that I know that Professor Meshach Mwamba, who is the head of school, or like CEO of Bow Valley, he's been given that responsibility, along with some individuals, some top, education or individuals in Alberta, to look into that. I think in relation with the Ministry of Multiculturalism, something like that. Been working on that, but of course, processes like that takes time.
It takes time. Yeah, so that's I'm like, I don't mind it being that there's a process that you have to go through. The only thing is how long it takes, and like, how do you expect those individuals to cope?
Yes.
Are there other solutions that you think can be put in place in order to help people like that just come in? Especially like if someone is watching and they're like, I want to move, but I'm scared because I know that I have practiced in my country for over 10 years, for example, and then I have to go and take a pause and have this long, like, I have to go back to school. Are there other, like, if we're trying to give advice to those individuals, and at the same time we're trying to give like solutions to the government, like, or are they even looking for solutions for this kind of situation?
Yes, like I said, I know the Ministry of Trade, Immigration and Multiculturalism, they started something, and Dr. Meshach is part of that team working on something. And of course, the process is probably, it won't be like that.
It'll take a long time,
that doesn't mean that if you want to come to Canada or want to relocate somewhere else, you shouldn't do that. Number one, you have to believe in yourself and believe in the ability that God has given you, and you don't give up. I know those who are practicing medicine, pharmacy, lawyers now, and I also know individuals who were once a civil engineer in Nigeria, but they're stuck in nursing now. Because they only, I need to start making living, start making money, come into nursing, and they're locked in nursing, and like I'm telling you, 10, 12 years. They can't go back to their profession.
Maybe it turned into a passion.
Yes, something like that. But and I know individuals who, like, you know what, I don't think I can go on with this. I'm just going to stop. So, it's a journey. It's not going to be smooth or like easy. Like, we came here. There are some struggles that we face. Like, for example, the first car that we got in this city was given to us by, I don't want to mention the tribe. It's one. I don't want to mention the tribe.
Nigerian?
It's not Nigerian.
Okay.
But, the guy, we check out the car. We were on Kijiji to look for the car, all of that, and then eventually we got the car, and then I went to go and inspect the car. The guy, promised, this is beautiful, nice, and then we told him we just came like some months ago, and we're looking for a car that can actually, I'll be going back to Nigeria, but I want my wife and my kids to have something that they can move around. All of that is essential for us. Well, the guy said, don't worry, I'm going to bring the car over to you, to your house, blah, blah, blah. He brought the car. We think he was being kind, but it's just been very wicked, because we got the car, and then the following month, we started driving the car. In fact, it was parked in our garage, underground garage then, and then we came back, we're driving the car, only for us to notice that the oil is always like draining. It's only back in Nigeria that I've seen that thing have to top up engine oil.
Right.
We started topping up engine oil in Canada. And then we realized that the car, from the windshield on top, it's all rotten. It's all like rust.
Right.
The guy painted it with white. So when it was raining, they started chipping off. And we saw that this is not good. We got a car for $1,500 then. Once very
Back
small
then.
car. Eventually I have to give her the car to Salvation Army as scrap.
Oh wow.
Because it wasn't useful for us. So it was a major struggle for us, because we just came. Or what about, we came in, the first apartment we got, within 2 weeks we landed in court that we are fraudsters.
What?
And that because we had no idea of what is called senior home and generic maybe apartments.
Oh.
We're going to get the house, and then what do you call it, the agent, whatever. We reached out to them and they said we should come up for inspection.
Right.
My daughter was 3 years old then. My wife carried my daughter. I was there, and then we inspected the whole house. Now, the agent who works in the company in Calgary knows better than us. We're just in Canada for just 3-4 months.
Right.
And then he said, okay, how many people will be living in the house? They asked us, myself, my son, my daughter, my wife. No objection, nothing. That was a senior home. If you're under 18, you're not allowed to stay in this apartment. Nothing of sort was mentioned to us. And then he just asked us, and we even paid 6 months in advance.
Wow.
Plus additional $1,500 for security, because we had no Canadian history. We pay almost $7,000, for new immigrant, which is something that I think the government is looking into. We paid that money, and then second week, we're in the elevator going up to our apartment, and then one man just, when did they start allowing minors in this apartment? We didn't have an idea of what he was saying. Not knowing that the man went to go and write the association of the estate, and then we got a letter from the office of the rental company that, you guys, you deceived us, you told us this, and then, this is an apartment, you shouldn't have, moved. And I said, excuse me, that who is deceiving who? That because of that, you're going to forfeit the money you deposited, and that you continue to pay. You're going to vacate within 2 weeks, and that because that place, we don't have anybody that will be occupying, you continue to pay the rent until we get someone that will occupy.
Oh my
Real life story. I'm telling you the story of my life.
In this Calgary?
Yes. 2015, towards September, October. So I said, you know what? If there's nothing that I know that this is like, you want to like swindle us. This is criminal. That you think we are newcomers, you want to take advantage of us. This will not work. So I knew how to write. I knew how to like make contact. So I started looking for lawyers, started looking for radio station, TV station to report that this is not good, this is wrong, this is broad daylight robbery, that you're taking us $7,000 and we're going to pay until you get. So
wow,
not everybody is mumu, and we're coming from Nigeria. We're not dumb.
No, we're not.
I lectured at the university, LBS, before I came here. So we're well schooled. My wife is an accountant. So all of that. So, and my friend came back from Fort Mac. I told him, he said, no, they're joking. And that was just like 2 weeks before moving back to Nigeria. Because I already bought my ticket. It became a major issue. I walked McLeod Trail looking for lawyers' office here and there. Eventually, we got this immigrant lawyers to support all of that and everything. We started the whole process. They thought we were just going to chicken out. So, you know what? We can't just like let $7,000.
$7,000
in 2015.
As at 2015.
Yes,
What?
just like that. So we said this is wrong. So while I was in Nigeria, it was very traumatic experience for my wife, and it was a major issue because then she has not done her driver's license. She's like, they have to like go out together to buy groceries, wait for several minutes in the bus stop. There was a day that they were in the bus stop. It was raining heavily. A good Samaritan passed by. I said, oh guys, why you're in the rain? Let me give you a ride. I don't know the person, a woman. Pick up my wife and then my kids, drop them at home. They were around that Cranston then. So we started the issue, and then they wrote this organization. They thought it was a joke. They okay, blah blah blah. They said, okay, they're going to. I said, let's go to court. Let's see who wins. And in just 4 months of arriving in Canada, a court case.
Wow.
And it was like, this is not a good sign. Why are we here?
Wow.
And then we were like, come on, we have our own places in Nigeria, properties in Nigeria, and we're here now. And then so we kept on letter here and there. Then later, when we realized that, this thing, if you go to court, you're going to lose big time. You're going to pay a lot of damages here and there. So they started writing, okay, you know what we'll do? We'll refund you 4 months and the rest. I said, no, you refund us all the money. Everything. But my friend was...
You even pay for inconvenience.
My friend was Canadian. He said, I'll let you know that I'm a Canadian citizen. We'll go to the length, any length, that will make sure. So they started like compromising. After a while, when they knew that we're going to go to court in about 2 weeks, they now wrote us that, okay, let's set out a call. Let's see how we can work things out and blah, blah, blah. And that, okay, we'll give you this. I said, no, give us our money. In fact, as at that time, some people were asking us, you know what? You're going to pay for damages.
Exactly.
We're coming from a place whereby for us, it's integrity. We're not even
Right.
like we have. It's within our right to ask for, because we went through traumatic experiences.
Right.
We have to look for a new place within 2 weeks.
That's a lot of
We
income,
got a new
especially
place,
with
and-
2 little
yes,
children.
Yes, and then we have to, like, I was not even in the country. I have to ask friends to help move. And, moving in Canada is not the best of experiences. I moved about 3-4 times now.
Yeah,
so I know
me too.
house to house, and you have to move one day. The last movement wasn't like from my house to another house. So it was easy for us. We took our time. But those experiences, when we were renting, it was just like, eventually we said, we're not interested in asking for damages. Give us our money, nothing more, nothing less, and we'll go. That cannot happen to me now. If it happens to me now, I'll make a lot from them.
Yeah.
I will like, I say you can
What's
just
that
claim
then?
this.
You
So
didn't
we're not
know.
interested in making money
Yeah.
off. So we got a house and we got a new landlord that said, you know what, I've traveled the world and I know you're immigrants. Within 2-3 months, you'll find your footing. Now, the difference between the two of them was that one has been exposed. The other has just been local, living in Calgary,
Right.
not gone anywhere else. But the other guy has seen the world and have experienced, immigrants, they will survive, they will succeed. And,
Especially if you're Nigerian. There's no place you
yes,
can't survive.
Yes, but that's just part of the story.
Wow.
So talking about challenges, coming to the country, you face, and there's several stories that we've heard, but that didn't prevent us from like, oh man, we made a bad judgment in coming, we're going to leave this country. Oh, we're here, we're making, we're benefiting from the good of the land.
Right.
We're living, we're making impact, and we're like, we've seen other people that we've welcomed several individuals, and that actually informed me when I see individuals. I was in a Dollarama store about 4 years ago, and I saw this couple, and there are 2 girls. The lady was in a job, and the way they were talking, I said, these guys are JJC. So I say, hi, like meaning welcome. How that? I was asking a question. I said, how do you know? I said, you don't need to tell me. You smell just fresh from the
Fresh
place.
meat.
You smell, so I can see it. So I was there for 1 hour, telling them, if you want to buy pepper, here, buy clothes, here, pot, here.
Oh, that's really
everything.
nice.
I did everything. I told them everything, and the man still works in oil and gas in Nigeria. She's been going back and forth. We just spoke like some weeks ago. His wife now became like my wife's friends, and
That's
they
awesome.
come over to ask
That's
questions.
kind. Yeah.
Became a family friend.
That's
the same thing.
beautiful.
Someone met me at a mall in Chinook, and he said, "Oh, bros, thank you very much for that day. I got a job. They pay me 6 figures. I can't remember." Said, you met me, you told me about this, and you gave me a reference, blah, 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 and all of that. So it's just a way to be there for others. In life, the roads might not be smooth. There will always be tunnels, there will always be bumps here and there. But there's, if you don't give up, every challenge is just a bend, but not the end. So you just like, you get to this point, move. If you can't go right, go left. And there are individuals, good people. There are still good people in this land, in this world. And there are bad people, good people that will still be there to support, to help you. So if you're watching and you're thinking, I'm going to Nigeria, I'm going to Canada, I'm going to Australia, whatever, how do I survive? Go on YouTube. The countries I've been in this world that I don't know anybody, like China, like Morocco, here and there, or anywhere. I go on YouTube. I just Google things to do in China, where to go in China, what kind of business, and I take off and I'm gone. So there are people who are doing that, and this is part of the story that we're telling people that you don't have to be afraid. You have a family, you have a kin, you have individuals. You might not be related by blood, but you have your own kind. Everywhere in the world, you can rely on them. Just a matter of knowing one person that knows somebody. And
absolutely. Yes. I love that, because you mentioned that there was a day your wife was at the bus stop and somebody, like a random person, picked her up and took her home. I love that. The next thing for you, the next steps for you, it was to keep helping people, and you could find somebody at the dollar store, stop them, give them things to do and how to cope and everything, because in this country I find that information is key.
Yes.
And it was that lack of information that landed you in court, right? So information is key. You have to keep asking questions, and sometimes if it could feel so isolating, you don't know who to ask, you don't know who to fall on. But just finding a random person, a stranger, just stopping and talking to you and asking you and trying to help you out and giving you all the information that you might need. You might not be right now, but like you might need eventually. I find that very, very fascinating. And I'm just wondering, Mr. Lanre Ajayi, what is your why behind everything you do? Apart from just stopping a random person, even what you do with ethnic festival and things like that. First of all, what is ethnic festival and what is your why behind all of that?
You know, we are our own kind. We are our own brother's keeper. And I've said this in several opportunities to speak, that you can either be your brother's keeper or your brother's killer. You either kill your brother or keep your brother. The person I met at Dollarama 4 or 5 years ago ended up becoming someone that introduced me to an elder statesman who is now the patron board chair of our organization.
Oh, wow.
This is someone that, not jokes, this is someone that I can say this, that when dignitaries like international, guests, governors in Nigeria, ministers in Nigeria come to Calgary or come to Canada, they go to pay him homage in his house. He's that big of a man. And including politicians within, Alberta or Canada, they go to say hello to him, sir. He's an elder statesman. I got to meet this man. I met this man by virtue of the good work I did. I met someone 4 or 5 years ago at Dollarama working oil and gas. This man is an oil and gas giant in Africa. 4 or 5 years down the line, a minister of petroleum was coming to Calgary. And then his technical advisor was coming before him, who happened to be the friend of this my friend. And I said, I'd like to meet this minister. I said, okay, let's go to the airport. We'll meet this technical advisor and then he'll introduce you. And then we met the technical advisor at the airport, and then the following day we met the minister. And the minister was so I went with a special gift to the minister, and I was like, wow, minister, well, thank you for coming. We'd like to come and speak at our event, blah, 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 all of that. And the minister was going to greet this man in his house. And I was part of the entourage, and we met this man. Big house with over 50 people in that house.
In this Calgary?
Oh, yes, in this Calgary. Massive house. About 5 garage, on an acreage. Massive.
Wow.
So I met the man. I was like, wow, this man is in Calgary and I don't know. So I said, sir, I brought this for you. I gave him a gift. He was so happy. He said, oh, young man, that was good. He told me 3 weeks after, he asked me to meet him. And we met at the Fairmont in downtown Calgary. He said, young man, you came to my house that day. Everybody was busy asking for what they can get from me, but you brought me a gift. That I see myself in you. I like you, And ever since then, once the man is in Calgary, Lanre, I'm in Calgary, let's catch up, let's meet. And through him I met, of course, both of feather flows together. I met the likes of that kind of man. He has been a donor to our organization now. But, one random act of kindness 4 or 5 years ago is now paying off for... there was nowhere in anywhere that I can think or imagine that will happen. And that is the reason why everything we do, everything that I do is basically to, make impact, make a meaning, reproduce myself. Because we're not going to be here forever.
Absolutely.
So we have to find a way to do things, make impact. And that is what informed what we do at Ethnic Festival Association, which is a non-profit, charity-based art and culture organization. We help tell stories of African and the Caribbean, and we create opportunity for people to have their cultural voices heard. The mission is to make spaces available for these individuals to express themselves, irrespective of how you sound, how you look, where you're from, how you behave. Human beings they have the right to, express themselves, and we know that there's a lot of challenges in terms of, spaces that are available for Africans or Caribbeans or black and indigenous people of colors to give expression to their creativity, their culture, their behaviors, their lifestyle, their fashion, their food, their music. So our platform is doing that. And we're telling that stories, and we're using that opportunity we have. And, we started, 2017, after like working with the city of Calgary for like almost 3 years, we were setting up event for Alberta Culture Days in 2017, 2018, we're setting up for Alberta Culture Days. And then we're going to be setting up event at the C Space King Edward building in Madaloop. So when we're done setting up the event and all of that, and then my supervisor then asked us, go check out the buildings. And I went to the building and I was like, wow, this is an eureka moment for me. I've been in this country for 3 years. Nobody told me about C Space. It's an art hub. We have printers, dancers, magazine company, we have graphics design, you have drawing class, you have goldsmith, you have fashion designer, you have everything that building.
In this Calgary.
Yes. Then I was like, wow, this place exists and nobody told me about this place. So I started going from one floor to another floor, office to offices, asking for business cards and asking them, I would love to be part of what you're doing here. I want to volunteer. I was volunteering with different organizations that has something to do with art. But I said, this is where I should belong. This is where my people are. I should be in this space. So I got business cards from different art organizations, and I wrote them emails that I would like to volunteer with any of you that will be willing to have me. So I got a response from someone. I went to a particular art school for people with developmental disabilities. It's called Studio C Collaborative Art Center under the management of what's the name of this organization? It's kept my mind. So I went there and I met the manager there. His name is Colin Menzies. So that was September. In October I went there, and that was when we were having a monthly exhibition for all the artist instructors that teaches art classes. So I was wearing a fashion design of a print, and I was wearing this shoe. It was my own brand. It's called Diamond.
Oh, really? You have your own shoe brand?
Oh, yeah. I made it in China.
What don't you do?
Well, I made it in China. So I was wearing this shoe then, and I was wearing a brown designer clothes. And the man asked me questions, and I told him what I do, blah, blah. And I said, before I even finished, he said, can you come and teach us here? We'll pay you. I was going with the mind to volunteer with them.
Right.
Said, can you come and teach us? We'll pay you.
Volunteering. How many times have I said it on this podcast?
Yeah.
That volunteering is a big thing here.
That come and teach us here. We'll pay. I said, oh, really? I said, oh, fantastic. Then I was still doing my own core job with City of Calgary, summer or winter, here and there. And I said, okay, can I just send my resume? He said, don't send your resume. I believe you. And that was so I didn't send a resume for that job that I got.
Wow.
And for the next 3 years, I started teaching people with developmental disabilities. I developed a curriculum that can reach to them because some of them have speech impediments, walk impediment here and there. I was able to understand their needs. I started my classes with Afro music, Wizkid, Burna Boy, Davido. I was dancing. It was an accidental occurrence that led to action that we do now every day. So I get to class earlier, like 30 minutes before the student arrives, and I'll be playing maybe Oju Elegba or something or P-Square or all of that.
Yeah.
And the student will be arriving and they'll just be moving, just be smiling. And that became a ritual.
Wow.
So every day before we start our classes, we just start with our
vibe.
Yeah, we dance and the students start getting used to that and, able to understand that some of them, they like the sound, they like the movements, and we continued and started putting my classes on YouTube,
Nice.
And people started getting to know and continue like that. And it was after the second year, my manager said, oh, there's this City of Calgary, they call it Mayor's Award. Now it's called Mayor's Celebration of the Arts. That they want to nominate you for all of that. And I said, oh, okay, you want to nominate me for that? I said, I hope it's not going to cost you money because I didn't tell you that in 2016 also, I actually fell into the hand of a fraudster.
Oh.
Pretending to be a movie manager that can represent you in films.
Really?
That was back in 2016. That same year that we escaped from the court.
Yes.
I nearly fell into the hands of a fraudster portraying to be a movie producer
Wow.
on 17th Avenue, which of course I paid some money, went back. I just like raked for them. I got my money back, but someone I mentored fell into that same hands. I couldn't recover my $200 plus, but that person paid them $4,000, and that money went the drain till today. And that painful experience led to the birth of an organization that is helping Immigrant within the art community to focus, to know where to go. It's another story. One day maybe I'll put them in the book or in a film or something. Yeah, I'll do that. But
wow.
And that is how, going back to C Space, I put in that classes on YouTube, and 2 years they asked me, they want to nominate me for, and I said, okay, I hope it's not going to cost me money, because I remember like some years back, I want someone to represent me in a film, and I have to pay to be a member of that organization, which was supposed to be free. Like you want to be on a movie set, and they ask you to go and pay
to be on a movie set,
to be the mentor.
Are they supposed to pay you?
Pay you. I'm a talent. You discover my talent. You have a contract, but this time I have to pay them so many. So, my manager said, no, we're just going to nominate you. We see what you do. You volunteering. I said, okay, they're not going to pay me. I have nothing to lose. Go ahead and nominate. And just some months after, I got a call from the city of Calgary. Oh, Lanre Ajayi, congratulations, you are the Mayor's Art Champions for your community work you do and all of that. I said, what? 3-4 years. That was that was the second award, because I got an award with Calgary Stampede as the super host for the way I handled people, all of that. So that was major for me. I was the only black person on that line. I'm probably one of the first of African or Nigerian to get that award. First Nigerian. So I got that award, and then that came with media exposure. They used that very well. I told them what will happen a year after the award, which I have no idea of. I said, I'm going to launch an organization. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. I was saying things as if I didn't know it was going to happen, but I was saying it in the media. And
spoke it into existence.
A year after Ethnic Festival was birthed.
Wow.
And then we had the best, first year in 2019. That was 2018 award. 2019, we had the festival.
Nice.
Sold out event, first night, And ever since then, that night I knew that community is ready for something like this. And we continue. And then year after year, we started putting structures in place to have everything done properly. We became a non-profit registered, eventually went to becoming a charity registered. We have a board of directors, board of patrons, we have organization team, all of that, and we continue making our community impact and doing just 3 things annually: ethnic festival, youth empowerment, education in summer, cultural celebration and artist research and development in the fall, and celebration of cultural diversity through Black History Month in February,
in the winter.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like, that is so beautiful. Like, to think how it all started for you and like how it just took off is just interesting. Like, sometimes when we see people that have made it or are succeeding or are occupying spaces in those difficult places, like places that people look and are like, how can I occupy this kind of space? When we see those people, it feels like maybe they probably had smooth sailing. But that's what the Diary of a Nigerian Immigrant is like, to show people that you're not alone. Like, if you're struggling in one way or the other, you're not alone. And it's like everybody goes through this, but you cannot deter. You can't stop. You have to understand what grinding. Your why is and keep grinding, because you don't know when it will take off. You don't know how those little acts of kindness or just little things that you just do along the way, you don't know how it will just go forward and pay forward for one thing or the other, and it could just take you somewhere tomorrow. And I think you're a product of that.
Yes, we are not where we want to be, but we're not where we used to be.
Absolutely.
We're on a journey. We're on a journey. Life is a journey. Life's situation challenge is a journey. So, but I know that we're not where we used to be, even though we're not where we want to be. We are discovering, reinventing, working and trusting God to keep helping us. And then, like, sky's not the limit for us.
Oh,
God's
just
throne is the limit.
beginning. Oh,
Yeah. Because sky is big
absolutely.
enough for everybody to fly.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we keep doing what we're doing, and then we keep making impact and supporting and making spaces available for people to have their cultural voices heard.
That's amazing. That's so good. That's like nuggets. That is beautiful. And I feel very inspired. How long did it take for you to get that breakthrough that took you to, like, how long were you grinding before you got that breakthrough?
Well, Ethnic Festival, we became officially registered in 2021, even though we started 2018, officially registered fully, and charity registered fully, and it's been like 7-8 years, almost 8 years now, doing what we're doing. You know, back in Nigeria, I've been doing something like this. I've been doing events, planning all of that. So, but it's a different crowd, different community, different, stakeholders. But we're in a different environment, and you have to like connect with the right people, know the right individuals, press the right button to know people will believe in you, because we don't create this organization, or what we do is not just for Africans alone, it's for Canadians. Our brand is not built for Africans or Caribbean. Our brand is for Canadians, and that is what
showcase it to them.
Yeah, Canadians, whether you are black or white or Indian or Asian or African. And that is what explains, during our festival, you see different cultures having a major stake in our participation, indigenous, Asians, all of that. Because we're building a global brand.
Right.
And that is just the way it is. And like I said, we're on a journey. We're still like learning. We're doing things better. We know, okay, how can we do this better? Oh, look at, we did that. What can we do better? How can we improve on the steps? And with the right team, I can take credit. Right team, right individuals that worked with me every day. Oh, yeah, we're going somewhere.
That's beautiful. And I can't wait to watch what the next steps and the next level is going to be. And it's also an inspiration to me, because sometimes when I do what I do, or putting out podcasts every time, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not, but I know what I want to achieve. I know where I was, and without that information and why I know my why. And so this is inspiring, that regardless of who's watching or who's clapping, don't stop. Because someday you don't know whose life it will change, and you don't know where it might even take you. You don't know who it might recognize it tomorrow, and the reason why they would recognize it. So that's a huge inspiration for me, and I hope it's a huge inspiration for so many other people watching. That's amazing. Thank you so much. To end this, I think your story is so huge, and we probably have to do a small documentary outside of the Diary of a Niger. Maybe it'll be like a segment under the Diary of a Niger Immigrant, but it'll just be like a full-blown documentary of what your journey is. But that is something we'll talk about later on. Okay. But every episode we always ask guests some questions, and that one of the question is, what is one thing you wish you knew before buying that one-way ticket? Even though you said it was almost a return ticket because you went back to Nigeria, but your final, like when you first arrived, what was that thing, especially for your family, what was that thing you wish you knew before buying that one-way ticket?
I wish someone can just put a documentary together for me about, this is Canada. If you're in the arts, this is where you should go. If you're in medicine, this is where you should go. If you're in engineering, this is where you should go. There are some organizations who kind of like, they're doing something, but they're not actually doing it. Their focus is not for an African. They don't have some programs that can actually address some of the challenges. I've done a bit of my story to, like, for example, I did a documentary about Plus 15, so that people can watch and know that, I can connect different parts of downtown together without actually coming on the streets. Especially during winter. I did a 4-part episode about that as well. And that is part of the stories that I keep saying. And for example, I tell the story of Calgary Stampede every year. Carry Fest every year. Cosmo, Comic Expo every year. Nigerian Canadian Association stories every year. Apart from ethnic festivals and the things we do. I wish I have someone that can actually, I can play a story of, okay, you're an immigrant and then you are coming into a different organization like this, and then you can break it down to bits and pieces that, okay, if you want to do this, this is where you should go, this is where you should go, so that we don't just keep running into obstacles and all of
circles,
that.
yeah.
You know, one of my projects that I mentored started an organization that is focusing on immigrants. It's called Immigrant Council for Arts Innovation.
Okay.
And they're providing mentoring for people within the arts, immigrant artists. Because as an engineer, you have somebody, lawyers and doctors, you have some probably body you have to plug into to do, but for artists or creatives, there's none like that. So it was part of the painful experiences she had with that organization that swindled her, that I met her, and then she saw me on LinkedIn, she reached out to me, and then started mentoring, talking to her. You know, part of the painful experiences and the painful, discussions, and the experiences and all we had during those sessions and years is what gave birth to the organization that is, she turned the pain into a purpose by, like, I've gone through this. I think someone else shouldn't be going through this. Should I give birth to that idea? And it's an organization now, fully registered in our border, called Immigrant Council for Arts Innovation. And basically they have mentoring programs for people in the creative industry, basically. And I mentored people through that program as well. And so we just have to, find yourself in the situation and then see how you can make better use of that situation. If it's bad, how can you turn it around so that someone else can avoid that pitfall. The fact that you went through situation, when I got the Mayor's Award, it took me about 2-3 years. Individuals that came after me who are Nigerian, I've gotten that award. It took them about 6 months. Yeah, because I met somehow our path cross. I was being able to mentor them in a way, and okay, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you should know. Meet these people, go to that program, all of that. They've gotten that award 6 months, 5 months after, that they came to Canada, Calgary. But it took me 3 years because there was nobody to pay
Everybody's
forward
journey is
for me.
different. Yeah.
So I've seen that as part of my my plan, my life mission as a pace setter.
Right.
I do things today, and people they want to do it. This morning I was coming. 2 individuals called me. Someone did something, they copy you, they did. I said, fantastic.
Sky is big enough.
I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Let them copy it. That means there's something good that we're doing.
Yeah.
We saw someone did something, and it was your idea that you did, and they are using it word for word and everything. I said, fantastic. That means we're doing something that people are noticing, and they're like, they can copy it. Good.
Yeah.
Being a role model and keep doing what you're doing.
Nice, yeah.
No hard feelings.
No. So one thing you wish you knew is you wish you knew where to go to in order to help you. So you don't have to go all the way.
Start waiting and all that, looking for a job here and there. Just, understand. I was running a for-profit organization in Nigeria, but I had no idea of how to run a non-profit. If I'm coming to Calgary and I know that I'm going to do that, I will probably equip myself.
Right.
But I've been able to, we learn that by mistakes, improve ourselves, and then do something.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Another thing I'm taking away from your story, when you went for your interview, I don't know if it was your first, but one of the interviews that you went for, the guy was looking at your shoe, and that was one of the reasons why you didn't get the job.
They look at my belt. They look at everything.
However, the job you got, where they asked you to come and mentor, it was your shoe that they looked at and they loved it, and you were like, I produced these shoes.
Yeah.
So don't stop wearing good shoes.
I love shoes. Yeah,
don't stop wearing good shoes. That's one thing I'm taking away. I don't know if you've ever thought about it that way before, but your shoes are taking you somewhere, and don't stop wearing them, and don't stop walking, because the sky is not the limit, like you said.
To borrow from Johnny Walker, keep walking.
Keep walking.
Don't stop.
Don't stop. Yeah.
Don't stop.
Yeah. So, trivia. Between the winter and the spring, what's your favorite weather?
Spring is better. Winter can never be. It's just not. I remember Nigeria every winter. I remember.
But you're still busy in the winter. You do your
we have
ethnic fest in the winter.
It's because it's peculiar to Black History Month. And that is why we do that signature event. In 2027, we'll be having our first summer, event, summer mega event. 2027. Yeah. We've been planning. But I believe, and the way I said it said this, back then. 2027, we're going to be having a mega summer program.
Yay.
2027.
We can't wait.
2027.
By God's grace, Diary of a Nigerian Immigrant will be there too.
Oh, yes. 2027. So we're giving ourselves
2 years to plan.
We've been planning, but by God's grace, 2027, we're going to have that event in Calgary. Our summer major event. We're going to have that. So, but for me, summer is not my best friend.
Really? Okay. So
spring is okay.
Spring or fall?
Well, fall is better, but fall, we always, where I live now, there's no, you don't have to pack leaves. So you don't pack leaves, no leaves falling on the way or everything, but it's windy.
Right.
Yeah, during the fall, it's windy, and that's when the leaves start falling.
So spring or fall?
Spring is better. Spring is okay. It's rainy, it's not hot. It's okay. Yeah.
Spring or summer?
Summer is better, but summer, the heat in this country is different. Also. Everything is extreme. Yeah. Well, summer is good. I'll take summer at all time. For above anything, I'll take summer because at least, you're okay. You can dress the way you like.
You can wear shorts. You can wear your trad.
Walk and go out. You can drive, You're not afraid of visibility or anything. Right. You're not afraid of, you have to lock all the windows, all the doors, all the eyes frozen. So
summer or fall?
Yeah, summer.
Summer, okay.
Yeah.
So you're a summer baby. What month were you born in?
I was born in January.
You're a winter baby, for crying out loud.
I was born in January, but I was born in January in Nigeria. In Nigeria.
We'll take that. Okay. So jollof rice or fried rice?
Depends on who is cooking it. Yes.
You cannot just pick one. There's always a caveat for you.
Because jollof rice can be very good and fried rice can be very good.
Right.
My sister of blessed memory, nobody has cooked fried rice the way she cooked fried rice.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So it depends on who is cooking it.
Okay.
Yes.
Who cooks your food?
I cook. My wife, I cook because I grew up in a family of caterers. So my wife cooks, but she knows that also I'm a cook. So
when you're cooking, would you rather cook jollof or fried rice?
In fact, I don't do two of that. I don't do two of those. It's my mother cook. Yes.
So if your wife is cooking jollof or fried?
She cook both. I don't cook.
Which would you pick, jollof or fried?
Jollof.
Jollof rice.
Jollof rice. She's cooking.
Okay. If she's cooking between jollof rice and efforiro?
I'll pick jollof rice.
Okay, jollof rice and amala and abula.
I'll pick amala.
Yes. So amala has won it for you.
Yes, I'll pick amala. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess with that, we've come to the end of this episode. Is there any other thing you want to add for us? You've given us lots of nuggets, but do you have any last words?
So,
anything
not last word, but this, if someone is watching this and you're in Calgary, this is a unique program that I can say it now. Unless if you know any other organization doing this, let us know. The only program that actually put money back in the hand of the students. I'll explain. It's called Ethnic Learning and Empowerment Program, which basically is an initiative of ethnic festivals. We do art and cultural classes, like fashion design classes, photography classes, film classes, computer graphics, robotics and automation, art and craft, drawing, makeup artistry, indigenous cultural knowledge, and business entrepreneurship. And each of those programs will give tools to learn. Like if you're coming for fashion, you get a sewing machine. For film or photography, you get a digital camera. For makeup artistry, you get a makeup set of 10 brushes and other pastel and the rest of that, and drawing equipment and all of that. And then, provided you don't miss the classes, you take them home after the program.
Nice.
You take them home. So each student get up to $1,000 worth of equipment by attending this program.
Nice.
And you only register with $70. Now that registration is nothing compared to what you get, because we just want you to be committed, because where your treasure is your artist. So if you put out $70, even if it's small, you want to my money or my parents pay this, for you to be committed. But the equipment, a sewing machine is more than that. One sewing machine.
Yeah, of course.
This is the 5th year, season 5.
Nice.
Some folks said, "Oh, you can't last. You can't what?" It's not. It's actually a way of us giving back, and it's not just for only African. It's for Caribbean, indigenous, Asian, age 12 to 70.
To 70.
3 years ago, we had 71-year-old in the class.
Wow.
Last year, we had father and son, mother and daughter in class. We had 55, 56-year-old in class. And it's always sold out because of the uniqueness of the program. Because after the program, you're now enlisted into a mentorship in the classroom to continue learning from these instructors, because some of them are, not all of them, all of them are locals. They are Calgary professional artists, designer, musician, photographers who own their own studio in Calgary. One of them is Sam Badero. One of them is Dedekia. They have their own studio, and the individual student can continue to learn from them beyond the classroom.
Beautiful.
So if you know anybody age 12 and above, the youth and adults, they can come for this program, and it's just an opportunity for you to learn. And
Do they need any documentation or something to be able to? Because some educational, you can't. This is Diary of a Nigeria immigrants and immigrants. Some people they don't have a work permit, for example.
We don't ask for any documentation as long as you're in Calgary and you have 12 years and above. Yeah, because when you're going to register on our website, you have to we know when you have to register, and you have to be 12 years and above. So we don't need you to, whether you are immigrant or non-immigrant or documented or undocumented. So when you're in Calgary, initially we were doing it in other provinces via Zoom, but we can't get the result
the hands-on
we want. So we
result,
stopped. Focus on Calgary, and then with time, with more resources, we can go to other cities to do this.
Nice. That's a beautiful one.
Check up ethnicfestival.com. You get information.
I will put the link in so that whoever is watching can click there and get redirected. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Lanre Ajayi. This was such a pleasure and a fun conversation. I enjoyed getting to know you better and learn about your journey. And it was also very inspirational for me. And I hope it was inspirational for most and all of our listeners or people watching whatever platform you're listening or watching from. Thank you so much, and I just want to wish you good luck with every of your future endeavors, and I hope that you continue to just keep doing good the way you're doing, and keep occupying spaces and showing the light and making us proud in the city. We see what you're doing and how much you do it and how much of your heart goes into it. And you're one of the people that we are proud of.
Thank you so much.
From Niger to the world.
Yes. We know they carry last.
We know they carry last. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. This was so nice. If you watch this extent, why haven't you subscribed? Why? Subscribe so that you can watch more. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.
The Diary of a Niger Immigrant was proudly brought to you through Onyi's Lens. If you like this episode, then you should check out our other episodes. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment on whose journey you would like to hear about next on the Diary of a Niger Immigrant. And until next time, I remain Onyi Ekenelbi. Bye now, friends.